conversation or frequent questions, just speak out. Hey, Deb or Roger, got a question, and just read it out loud for us, and then we can respond to it for everybody for the most part.
Okay.
Wonderful. All right, we got our team in play here. All right, so we'll get to the program. So let's welcome everyone. I love this Ignite piece. I love the open house section, and I just want to welcome everybody to today's session, and where we'll go behind the scenes to see what really is involved in hosting an open house. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Deb Hayes. I'm the productivity coach here at the 614 Westford, Mass, Merrimack Valley Market Center. I've been in real estate 25 plus years. Came into Keller Williams about 7 years ago, and have been spearheading the coaching program for about 3 years now. And I've got 49 people in my program, and we're at about we got a lot of volume going. I should have gotten that number. So anyway, so we're gonna set up. Roger, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll move along.
Okay, so Roger Ring from Plainville, Mass, Keller Williams Elite, Market Center 868. And I've been doing real estate for about 16 years, Keller Williams for just about 2 at this point. So I'm the launch coach. So I handle all the folks that are coming in brand spanking new, similar to you guys. And then we'll promote them up to the next level, which would be Denise Martin, our productivity coach. And we've got collectively about 60 people in the program, collectively in both programs. Maybe about 27 or 30 in launch, and then another 30 in the other. And the launch program on its own, for the most part, has done about 46 transactions since January. And that's just new people just like you, getting their 1 or 2 under their belt, and
Awesome.
everything that goes along with it.
You got to start, you got to get them into action fast as we can. And that's what Ignite's about. Yeah, it takes a little bit of time out of your day, but let's make sure that we're doing the activities that we're agreeing to do. So who wants to share what they're grateful for in this new learning journey? Interactive here.
I'm grateful for
a lot of the templates. So like,
Yeah.
like a lot of the, I came from a different, I started in January, and I came from a different brokerage, and a lot of this stuff, there's just so much information everywhere. It's hard to put it in play.
Yes.
But I've been grateful for Keller Williams having everything together, so that I like when I go to do something like my business plan, I'm getting information from so many different places. It's hard to put a template together. So I'm really grateful for having all of that. It's like it's hugely helpful so that I don't have to recreate it.
Right. Well, thank you, Charles. I appreciate that feedback. What opportunities do you guys see for yourself, or what are you excited about?
I actually am hosting an open house for somebody on Sunday.
Nice.
So this is, I know this is perfect
timing.
Perfect timing.
I right now, I have another business that I'm weaning off of, and I'm very busy on the weekends, but Sunday I had wide open. So I put on my, my team's Facebook page, I said, if anybody needs any help, I'm happy to do an open house. And somebody needed me in a town right next to where I grew up at. And this is perfect timing. So I am happy and thankful for you guys today.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you'll learn a whole bunch of great things today, and you'll know exactly what to do. So that is today. Anybody else have one last opportunity that they've either grabbed or they're excited about?
Well, I could say I'm grateful because I'm attending an open house this weekend with a couple of clients. I've done some in the past, but this is the perfect time to get this knowledge behind my back and, behind me, so I'll know exactly what to expect, although I already participated in the past.
Yeah, you've done a bunch, so that's good. Yeah, our market center is very open house heavy. We have a lot of people hosting, a lot of people shadowing. We'll even have 2 shadows. And as I said, we have another agent who kind of bops around and does some Facebook Live, maybe a minute tops.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah, she's really good. So, yeah, so today's focus is on holding open houses and using them for what's our favorite thing we need to do? Lead generating. You know, so everybody, a couple little things too. We want to always make sure your market center has your open house safety handout. In our office, we have it up on the dashboard where you can find that, and we'll go over some of that kind of stuff. And, you know, open houses are really a fantastic tool to really get your business going. You know, it really is. And I think, who's been doing open houses so far? Let's say that real quick, and then we'll get to the program.
Well, you know, Deb, I've done a couple of them.
Yeah, anybody else? Everybody?
Sorry, it took me a minute. I have done open houses at my past brokerage. Yep.
Well, that's great. Well, we're glad to have you at Keller Williams here. All right, does everybody see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay. let's
It's
try that.
loading.
It's loading. We're not going to be slow today, guys. Is it
There
up?
you go. You're up. Yep.
Yes.
Goodness gracious. All right, so here we go. Welcome, skills to spark a great career. So we're in the element section. Number 3, we're doing our open houses, and we're very excited about it. So let's see what successful agents do every day. And we see this every day of Ignite. So we lead generate for buyers and sellers. And so the goal of our time together today is to learn how to successfully incorporate open houses into our prospecting strategy and generate business. So I really want you guys to absorb that. This is what this day is for. This is what open houses are for. They help you to incorporate this open house program to prospecting to generate business, right? So lead generate for buyers. So do you hold open houses to sell the house or to pick up buyers or sellers? What's the answer to that?
I would say both.
Yep, absolutely. And that's sort of a little bit of the not unknown, but something that a lot
That's
of
the
people just think
realtor's
they're,
dirty little secret.
yeah,
Are we really doing them to help sell it for the seller, or are we really doing it to generate leads and to look for other leads?
right. So the goal is holding an open house is not only to sell the home, but it's to put yourself in the path of opportunity. It's really the business opportunity to meet people, to add to your database and set appointments. And you know, as I mentioned, we've had some great luck here at my market center with people doing open houses and converting them. So let's look into the benefits of doing an open house, right? So what are the benefits? Holding open houses consistently can be rewarding and actually quite profitable. Open houses are inexpensive, right? They're very inexpensive. It's just your time. And as we all know, that's what we have to work with right now, our time and our cell phone. They have a high return on their investment. You can attract more prospects by investing several hours in this manner than you can perhaps 3 or 4 weeks in other methods of prospecting. Actually, nothing puts you in more direct contact with people than being face-to-face with them. So they're inexpensive, they have a high return on investment, and you get a lot of exposure, correct? What's some additional benefits, including high exposure and a productive way to meet buyers and sellers? What other benefits are doing open houses?
Getting to know the house, you know, and, you know, getting experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, getting experience using your words. What else, Charles?
Helps with your image marketing.
I would agree with that. And you said something in the beginning, you said the houses. There's 3 things in real estate. There's the product, which is the home, the roof, the heating system, the product. And then there's the process, which is writing up the offers and doing all of the work and the day-to-day. And then there's promotion. So really open houses kind of can handle all three of those things. So we have a little survey here, which I think is interesting. So according to National Association of Realtors, 2019 profile of home buyers and sellers, it says 51% of all buyers use an open house as a source of information in their home search. So this is 2019, which just seems like 500 years ago. But what do you guys think of 51% of buyers use open houses? What is the trend now? What do you think the number is?
I would think it's much higher, like, 75%.
What does everybody else think?
Yeah, I would tend to agree because simply a lot of homes are being deferred, to the first open house. So that's your first opportunity to get in there, and then you're being required almost to write an offer that night, or if you're interested, and get it in
Yeah.
due to the competition.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's painful almost. You have to
Yeah.
get in, you have to look at the house for 5 minutes, and you have to decide if you're going to spend $500,000 to $1 million or more dollars.
Right.
So I want to say that could almost be up to 90, 100%. I bet you there isn't one person that hasn't gone to an open house unless they're out of state. So, again, what is our number one job in real estate? It's our number one job before anything else.
Lead generate.
Getting new business.
Yep.
Lead generating. That's it. That takes first priority before everything else. So what happens if you don't have a listing? How are you going to do an open house?
You go to open houses
You go to them. That's perfect. So you get a really
and
great handle.
you try to help your office as much as you can.
Yep. And how does everyone reach out to their office and see who needs help at an open house? Is everybody doing that every Monday?
Yeah.
Right. I think that's a good best practice. On
I have
Monday or Tuesday, you start. Does everybody know how to look up in the multiple listing service? The open house is set for your own office.
Yep.
All right. Let's make sure we all know how to do that. If you don't know how to do it, I'm sure your tech trainer or your coach can certainly set that little search up for you. And then you simply call around and ask, hey, can I host your open house? Or that's the best, and you can host it, or can I shadow? And why is it important to shadow?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
I took this course, not this course, but I started 22 years ago in Century 21, and I only did it for a year, and I'm very new again
Mhm.
here. But I was always under the impression that we'd be stealing clients from the person who had the listing. Like, what is the protocol? Like, if I just go to an open house and start talking to people, I mean, what is the protocol there? Am I stepping on the listing agent's toes for her to get prospective buyers or him?
Yeah. Well, this is why you want to speak to the listing agent and say, can I host your open house if you're too busy? Because a lot of busy agents are too busy and don't want to do open houses. Or you say, can I shadow? And then if they say, sure, you can shadow, you say, what is your policy if I shadow? Do I get to take any of the leads, or I simply shadowing and learning? And depending on the agent's personal decision, it depends. Some people say, yep, you can have all the leads. I don't want to talk to anybody. I'm just focused on selling my listing. If some people say, hey, let's just take you turns. You do this couple, I'll do the next one. You do this one, I'll do the next one. So the protocol really in my mind is you check with the listing agent and, ask if you can shadow, or if you host, it's your leads. And let's make sure you always have to ask the listing agent what their policy is. What are your thoughts, Roger? Would you agree with that?
So yeah, and to expand and to be clear, we're not suggesting you go to other people's open houses and quote unquote hit on people that are in the open house. We're
Right.
suggesting that you're communicating with the listing agent, volunteering to cover because they can't or don't want to do it, and then asking them what their policy is. Some agents will give, all right, in anything, there's no real rules to it. It's up to the listing agent and you, whether you accept it or not.
Yep.
So if they offer you, say, listen, you can have all the leads, but I want a 25% referral on any business you get out of it. You can have all the leads and you're just doing me a great favor. That's wonderful. Or, you know, if you're sharing it with them, in, as Deb was alluding, if you're doing it with them alongside them as a equal partner, so to speak, because you've shadowed at least 3 or 4 open houses, so you get a sense of what's going on. You've got your scripts kind of internalized, and, you know, they see you as a peer. They might, like Deb was mentioning, you know, I'll take this one, you take that one. Or if you have a better connection with somebody over somebody else, blah, blah, and you can work that out. And it's individual. So it's going to be unique to everybody. But to be clear, we're not suggesting you go to Century 21's open houses and walk in there and in the bedrooms, you're going, hey, you're working with anybody? No, don't do that at all. That would be a
Picking
big
people up in the
no-no.
driveway. Yeah, so it's a little, you know, kind of common sense, and, you know, we're all independent contractors. We're all basically, you know, in the same business and somewhat in competition with each other. But if that person has a listing, you're going to support that person all the way that's their listing, you know. And yeah, we don't want to be picking up people in the driveway. Any other questions on that kind of
That
topic?
was a good one.
Well, just to, because of the situation that happened where I posted and the girl, you know, the agent said, oh, can you do it for me? So she is not going to be there. But so there was another thing that I said, I do have open house signs. Would you rather me use yours? And she said, nope, use yours. And she said, I hope you get a ton of leads from it. So, you know, I think kind of knowing that I was being respectful and like not stepping on her toes, I think that
Mhm.
that's probably a good way to approach it, because I just don't want to, you know,
Right.
make not enemies, but, you know.
Well, the other thing too, in that signage piece, didn't mean to interrupt, Roger. A
Yep.
lot of these teams and different, you know, more experienced, higher level agents, I guess, have marketing and branding, and they're very particular about this color red and that color red and that color black, and they've been working on it for years. So sometimes they do say, nope, you got to take all my stuff with you, and, you know, or sometimes they say, you just go for it. So it really depends individually on the agent. And this lady, Cynthia, sounds great. She says, go for it. I appreciate you're taking your Sunday afternoon to help me sell my home. And, you know, you might also want to ask her, hey, do you want me to text you every 2 seconds every time someone comes in? Do you want me to check in a half hour with a little update? Or do you don't want to hear from me and I put something together at the end? So you might want to go ahead.
Oh, sorry. She seems really laid back, which means probably that I would think that she's been in the industry for a while.
Mhm.
Because she said, oh, here's my phone number if you need to call me like directly. But she's like, and then I asked her if I could market it, you know, like on Facebook, and just say, oh, you know, I'll be hosting this open house for so-and-so. And she's like, oh my gosh, do that, work it. Like, she was really supportive, which I think is really nice, because I feel like it motivates the next agent to be really supportive. And, you know,
Right, yeah, when you get a listing, you're gonna pay it forward as well. You'll have a listing somewhere, maybe you'll pick up, and we're gonna get to that piece too. The underlying other reasons why you want to do open houses. So, and the marketing piece and everything that you have to do. So this is falling right into line with your weekend. This is all for you today, right? So basically, this is what you have to do though. We have to do a little preparation. There's 3 kind of pieces to an open house, right? We've got, we prepare, we prospect, and we pursue, right? That's it. We got to set up for the open house's success. We want to promote and host it, and we want to follow up and convert. So I guess the point is, I know you were just got this one yesterday or this morning. The best practice, and you should do this after your open house, is to plan a whole week ahead. You know, you don't just get there 5 minutes of one and have an open house. There's lots and lots of things that you can do to make this open house as successful as possible for the listing agent or yourself, for the seller, for everybody. The more you do, it's really all about exposure for the property and yourself, and to show what an awesome job you're doing, because there's other people at open houses besides buyers. And who are they?
Potential sellers.
Absolutely. That's a secret little thing. People come in, they identify themselves as buyers, but they're really sellers, and they're watching you. Their scope, because there are a couple things. They might just be nosing around and seeing how much houses are worth, or they simply are knowing they're going to sell, and they've seen an ad, they've seen a post, you've been driving around, you've door knocked, you've met, they want to see this person and how good of a job they do. Are they protecting the safety of the home? Are they being respectful of this seller's property? All that kind of stuff. So these are the kind of things we want to make sure that you guys are totally on top of. Now, when we're talking about preparing and prospecting, we always have the whole thing about circle prospecting. And one other thing that Cynthia could do, which is tricky, but is call the neighborhood and say, hey, my name is, Deb Hayes, and I'm over at Keller Williams. And I just want to let you know that I'm hosting an open house for 157 Park Street, Sunday from 1 to 3, and I'd love to have you come early, as a preview, for the neighbors. But here we go, boom. Then we got to this thing with your do not call list. So I don't know what different market centers have for database and database and, different kind of registries. Some market centers have a list that is scrubbed of the do not call. So check with your coach or your TL or someone to see if there's anything available like that for your open house. So we always have to do the do not call warning here, right? So here's where we get into that whole week. Once you have made the decision to, host your open house, you really want to start it a week out, and you want to set yourself up for like a 7 to 10 day thing. Like Monday, like we're preparing just like anything, whether you're painting a house, this is your prep work, you're priming here. So Monday, you've got your open house, you're figuring out what you want to do. And then what are some of the things that you could do here to get this out there in the world? Let's make a list. What could you do on Monday?
The first thing I would do is make sure it's posted in MLS as early as possible.
Right. So that's the responsibility of that listing agent. You can't get into their thing and post that open house. So make sure it's posted on MLS, because as we all know in MLS, that's all the agents see it and their buyer clients can see it. And you just want to make sure it's out there. So let's make sure that that is done today. Okay, what else do we might want to do in the beginning of the week?
I would set up some advertising or marketing, maybe make some flyers, maybe do some door knocking. I don't know. I don't know if door knocking is.
All those things are good. Yep.
All those things, all of the above. Yes, you want to get some marketing together. I mean, at the very basic, simple thing, you print out the MLS sheet and you have it. How about, do we maybe want to look at the house? Do we want to pull the seller's disclosure, look at the pictures? What else do we want to do as a host?
Yeah, get to know the house really well. Maybe
Yes.
talk to the listing agent.
Yeah.
Ask them about the owners and, anything that, but then if you do that, are you stepping over the seller's agent disclosure?
No, don't, you're having some limiting things here. You have an opportunity to do an open house. If that agent didn't want somebody to shadow, they're gonna say no, or a host, they're gonna say no, I'm gonna do it myself, thanks anyways. So if somebody says yes, you have a good conversation with them, and you're not gonna say anything about the seller anyways. You're not the seller's agent, you're a facilitator here. And make sure you have in Mass, we have to have this little sign called I'm a facilitator, not the seller's agent. So yeah, let's get to know the house. We're not architects here. We don't need to know everything about the house. We just have to have a good sense of the home. How old is it? Does it have a pool? Does it have a basement? Is it drive-by? Does it have nice neighbors? Is it yucky? Get to know the property so you're going to be prepared when you get there. What else do we might want to do Tuesdays and Wednesdays?
A comment to share from the chat, having a CMA done. And then again, reviewing the seller disclosure so that you know better about the house.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very good practice. So somebody touched on it a little bit. Let's get some marketing pieces out. And we're going to get to that as we start the prospecting piece. But you want to make sure there's a sign up. You want to make sure there's a rider that says open house Saturday or Sunday. So you want to just start pumping it out there. Social media is our friend. Okay. Let everybody know that you're doing an open house Sunday and you're so excited and hey, I'll be there, put it out there so that everybody knows. And as we get closer toward the week, we're going to get even more intentional. You might want to prepare some market stats, and know what's kind of going on, in the market, which hopefully everybody is listening and watching 24 hours a day to know what's happening in the market. Let's ask that question. I'm at the open house. Tell me a little bit, where's Cynthia? Is she here still? I'm gonna put her on the spot. I don't know if she's still here. Yeah, have some information about the market. And you don't have to know everything. And this is something that we really have to stress in life and in real estate, and particularly you don't have to know everything about the house. And it's actually awesome not to know everything. So you can follow up and say, hey, I don't know that. Let me take your number and I'll find out about that plot plan, or I'll find out about that conservation area. I'll find out about the swing set. So always it's a good practice not to know everything. If you tell them everything, why do they need you? Any thoughts on that, guys?
That brings up a good point, Deb, too. Even if you know some of the information, withhold a little bit there so you can say, it's a great question. Let me get back to you on that. And it gives you that opportunity to follow up with them and then go into your, follow-up script or conversation with a buyer that came through.
Exactly. And as we get into the next piece, so the preparing and prospecting and pursuing, and that's, we'll have some good best practices there. I think as you roll in toward Thursday and Friday or Saturday, I think it was Kelly that mentioned door knocking. I am a huge believer in that, but it's certainly not for everybody. I know people have had good experiences and bad experience. I have an agent in my program who loves door knocking. I have another agent in the program and people think he's stealing their Amazon packages. So, and it's a true story and it's actually a sad story. It's not cool. But anyways, if you're doing a neighborhood, you certainly make a pretty little flyer on design, or even just print out the MLS sheet, walk around the neighborhood the day before or the morning when people are raking and whatever they're doing outside, and say, hey, I'm hosting an open house down at whatever street. And I'd love to have you come early, and by the way, the market is nuts and we have a lot of buyers. So if anybody pulls in your driveway and it's a little messy, let me know. And I will, I apologize in advance because, people just get very tunnel vision and trying to get there. So, and that's also showing, what is that showing about you when you're saying those words to the neighbors?
Well, I would think you're being respectful, showing that you care, you're conscientious.
Mm-hmm. Right. And our job, of course, is to try to sell that home for those clients. of your, they're not your clients, they're somebody else's, but your job is to, get that house, give it the best exposure as you can. You're doing a great job for that list agent. And then especially this woman, whoever, is awesome. Here, take all the leads, do whatever you want, market it, you should call her every week and do an open house for her. And, but for the neighbors, it says, wow, this lady's on it. She's taking the time on Saturday morning to knock on my door, which isn't fun. Obviously, if you have somebody to go with you, that raises the likelihood that someone's going to answer the door. Back in the day, everybody answered the door. Now everybody jumps under the coffee table when that's, and if no one's there, simply just slide, or no one answers, slide your little invitation just in the door and go on your way. So it's what else does that do for you as the agent?
Get your name out there and your face out there, and
Yeah.
you're making an impression on somebody.
Yep. So who has some other thoughts on what they could do?
Get to know the neighborhood too.
Oops, what am I doing? Whoops, hold on. Yeah, you're getting to know the neighborhood. You're getting, and in the script that will go on, there's some things to say. So let's talk about, now we're still in prep mode. We want to go to the location. We want to look at the time we're going to do it. We want to check for traffic patterns. I don't know. I'm in a little town up here. We don't have a lot of traffic patterns. In local practices, what does everybody else do? A large part of preparation is also considering the location and time of your open house activity. It says here in the data, and I'm still not sure if it's current, it says over 50 people who stop at an open house do it by impulse. Okay, location matters, condition of the property, what time. In your area, what does everybody do? What's the best time to do an open house? Anybody have any thoughts on that?
So I do, Deb, with respects to Patriots playing and things like that. So we're in the Foxborough area.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, we try to literally stay away from that. We know the football schedule. So because it does affect traffic patterns, that's a perfect example there. It does affect that, 60,000 or so people are going that way. And then the rest are, the boys want to stay home and watch the game.
Yep.
So, that's a big thing for us in this area.
I think it's a New England thing. I mean, I never do open houses which is hard because everybody plays all the time between the Red Sox and the Bruins, but mostly it's football on Sunday, which can be problematic.
Right, football's once a week, so it gets that draw a little better. You can't miss it.
And so doing them before the game can be awesome because people have chicken wings in their car and they're going somewhere, and they might be going to see a friend that they want to move there. So again, be very, conscious of the time and the day and all of this. And who else has some comment on the area? Oh, Lourdes has a question. I see her hand raised.
Hi, I see that some agents do once a week the open house, and sometimes you do the 2 days, the Saturday and Sunday. So what should we do when you have a listing? We should do one time, a Saturday or a Sunday, or we should do the 2 days on the weekend?
Let's put that out to the group. What does everybody think?
So I think that's a great idea for the simple reason, and if you think about what open houses are for us as lead generation prospecting times, for the most part, we've been kind of missing opportunities because homes go under agreement so fast within the first weekend. So I would encourage you to do one on a Thursday evening, do one on a Saturday and a Sunday, make sure everybody gets through there. It gives you that opportunity. And then, you're reviewing offers on Sunday evening and sharing them with the client and responding on Monday afternoon or something to that effect.
Right.
Yeah, I think especially on that first weekend that the house has been listed, it's important to get as much traffic in it as possible.
Yeah.
And, should it happen to stay on for longer than expected, maybe Saturday or Sunday or whatever's best for the client, or, what traffic has kind of determined. But initially, I would think that, flood that first weekend with as much opportunity to get people in as possible.
And we've had some successes with something called a commuter open house.
Yeah,
and
like the
it's sort of
Twilight.
Like 4:30 to 6:30 or 7. And it's, you just make it a little bit different. It's, as we get into the winter, that doesn't really fly. But, you can, and particularly if, and this is a good point. It's particularly great to do those if you have something on a very busy road, or on the way to the high school, or on the way to the gym. And because you may not, maybe nobody stops, but how many people are going to drive by your open house directional that says
Right.
open house today, with, nobody really does balloons anymore, but a lot of this is exposure for you.
Right.
If you, and I always say, when you have an open house, I'm in Pepperell, it's a little rural out here. So, there's a long way maybe to get to the house. I always put my open house signs out at the Rotary, whether it's way out that way or not. You want those directionals where everyone sees, oh man, she's busy again. Oh man, she's doing another open house. It's repetitive. And I think it's a cost, of course, it's an expense, but to have open house directionals with your branded to yourself and your faces, I think one of the first investments that people should make. Because yes, you can borrow their sign if you don't have one, but I'd rather have my face at the Rotary with an arrow, open house, with my big cell number on there. Again, no one's going to call, you're not going to sell a house from that, but it's exposure, it's exposure, it's exposure.
Mhm.
So that's a very good piece. So let's see where we're at. So let's talk a little bit about door knocking. All right, we talked about it a minute ago. We want to talk, does everybody have the script on page 6 of the door knocking? What do you say? I mean, I said my little spiel a minute ago. Who wants to talk about page 6 and scripting for a couple of minutes? I'm going to be a homeowner and I'm going to open the door. Anybody want to take a stab at that?
Want me to try, Deb?
Sure.
All right.
Hello.
Hi, I'm just stopping by. My name's Roger Ring with Keller Williams. How are you today?
Oh, I'm awesome. What's going on, Roger?
Just stopped by. We're going to be doing an open house up the street at 123 Main Street. And, I promised the seller that I'd get the word out here to the neighborhood and let everybody know the neighborhood, because we've found that a lot of times somebody in the neighborhood might know of somebody who's thinking about moving into the neighborhood, and they could get the word out to them. And also just to invite you up there. We're going to open the house up to the neighborhood about 15 minutes early. So if you wanted to come by and check it out, you're more than welcome, and just wanted to let you know all about it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a feeling they were moving. We saw the dumpster out there and they took that tree down and all of that. And yeah, so that sounds awesome. How much is it?
It's coming on the market. It's going to be priced at 400,000.
All right, awesome.
How long have you lived here?
Oh, we've been here for at least 15 years.
Wow. Yeah. What do you think about the neighborhood? So I can kind of share some insight with buyers that are coming through.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's really nice. It's quiet. And, my kids all loved it. They used to ride their bikes out here. And, there's a lot of people that I, like myself, probably thinking about selling someday, but not yet, just
Yeah.
whatever, I don't know. So.
Well, if you ever consider selling, I'm your guy. So I'll just leave my flyer here. Here's my business card as well. But
Awesome.
please feel free. We'll have some coffee and some munchkins up there for the neighbors who come in early, and we'll take good
Awesome.
care of you and show you around the house.
All right, cool.
All right, Deb. Thanks so much
Thanks.
for taking the
Thanks.
time. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Roger. See ya.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
So how do you guys feel like that went? I was a nice person, so.
I was gonna say, that was a little bit too nice.
Right, well, let's do it one
You
more
wanna do a
time,
tough one?
Charles.
All right.
How about Charles? You
You want me to
knock.
be the neighbor or the?
Why don't you
person?
be the agent and Roger will be the not nice person?
All right. Oh, great. Thanks. All
Not,
right.
not nice, but a funny person.
All
Deb,
right.
Yeah,
Deb, before you start, can you put in there like the whole COVID thing, because that's something that we have to be concerned about too.
Yeah,
when
good
we're
point,
door
good
knocking.
point. Yeah, let's be careful. Let's make sure we have our masks on and even if you're not in COVID, you want to stand back. Don't be like, ah, stand back. And you're supposed to turn to the side a bit. I don't know why, but you want to be, really respectful of people. So thank you for that, Isabel. So go ahead, Roger and Charles.
All right.
Knock, knock,
Hello?
knock, knock.
Hello? What can I do for
Hi.
you?
Hi, this is Charles. I have I'm an agent with Keller Williams and I have an open house at 8 Acre Way. And I just wanted to come and tell you about it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm not interested in the house. I'm not buying a house, obviously. I own my own house.
Oh, of course.
good,
Yeah,
right?
I totally understand. I get that. I just wanted to let you know about it in case, you're obviously a neighbor and, a lot of
Okay.
neighbors like to be nosy and I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, well, I'm not one of those guys. So, yeah, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. And
Right.
I gotta go. My toast is burning.
Oh, I'm sorry about your toast. Well, anyway, here's a flyer. I just want
Too
to let
late.
you know about
burnt
it.
my toast.
Later, right.
I hope,
So, go
Yeah,
ahead.
just stick with the script. Yeah, you did good.
Yeah, you did well. And it's important to do it like this because then you're kind of prepared. Be brief, be brilliant, and be seated. Get out of there. He was kind of being not bad, but that's what you get. And you just say, hey, have a great day. Here's my flyer. Speed it.
Right,
Go to the next, and he may surface. I've had people like that. And they keep your card in a year, they call you and you go, ooh, that's that guy. But you just never know. But good job, Charles.
Yeah, get the flyer in their hand, so to speak. Make that be the first thing. Pass it to them, and they take it.
That's
And
it.
then release. Yeah.
And if there's kids bouncing off the wall, just go.
Yeah, read the room. Yeah.
Read
if you
the room.
Oh, sorry, I caught you at a bad time. My apologies.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll leave this flyer with you, and I'll be on my way. Thanks so much. Goodbye. Swing by if you'd like.
So is that, who has some thoughts?
Well, I can't find the scripts that you're talking about, but I would say something like, I just want you to know, there might be a little extra traffic around so
Yeah.
you can prepare your day or, that, something like that. I don't
Yeah.
know.
In case
Yeah,
they're having a
stay
cookout.
positive. Don't
Yeah.
don't fret about so much of that. Just stay positive. You're there to drop the message off. It's
Yeah.
an invitation to them. It's no more. You're not soliciting them.
Right, right.
And the same with the phone. You're not soliciting business over the phone. A lot of times you're just sharing information. If they don't want it, no problem. Move along.
Or they're going to want to talk to you for an hour and you don't
Right.
have time.
You got the other side of it.
You've
Yeah.
got the other side of the coin that they're going to want to talk for an hour and a half and tell you everything about their life and all the terrible things in the neighborhood. So I would just, kind of keep moving on it. And the scripts are in the in your materials. So at some point, find all of these materials, which I think we have in the chat. And I don't know if we want to pop that in again.
Yeah, I reposted
took-
them in the chat about 3 minutes ago.
Right.
Okay, so you might have to scroll up this. Up
Yeah,
to the
so
chat
just-
here.
Yeah, I took copies of those. I'll go through them after this
Yeah.
is over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so that's good. Little door knocking. That was fun, right? Fun times. But yeah, it's a great way to get yourself out there, to use your words, to learn how to communicate, learn your scripts, internalize them. If you're a person that just wants to be quick, then that's what you are. This is meant, remember scripts, and we say this almost every day. Scripts are to help you what?
Be confident.
Yes, what else?
Stay focused.
Correct. What else?
Communicate a message.
Yep.
Get to the point and get on.
Get to the point.
Keep you on track. Yeah.
Keep you on track. And these scripts were designed to move you forward. Steve? Oh, you're on mute, Steve.
Sound
Oh, you're still on mute. Eh? Oh, he's on the phone. I'm sorry. Thought he was trying to talk to us. Anyways, knowing your words, and I hate the word script, okay? I just don't know why they call them that. Even though we're scripted every single day, we all know the first script we hear is, what can I get for you? And you say, you know, the first script is, welcome to Dunkin' Donuts. What can I get for you? I want my medium hazelnut milk only. Do you want the egg muffin, blueberry thing? No, I just want my coffee. Those are scripts, and that's meant to move you down the line and get to the way you pay. So also the scripts, and it doesn't always work with Dunkin' Donuts, it helps you listen at a higher level. You know, when you don't have to think about what you're saying, then you can listen at a higher level. So back to our open house for Cynthia this weekend, we want to get it out there so that everybody knows that you're doing an open house. Has anybody done social media ad campaigns? Cynthia, are you doing a campaign on command to drive some business to your open house?
Yeah, yes, I am going to. From yesterday's class, it was amazing because I said, oh my gosh, maybe this is just all happening for a reason. This timing.
Yes. Perfect. So yeah, I love me a social media campaign. And it's not just a post. It's not going on to my face, which you should do too. You know, all your friends, you know, all your family needs to, everybody in your world needs to know you're busy and you're doing an open house this weekend. But the purpose of a campaign is to target people outside of your sphere. Yeah, your sister's going to see your thing, or your brother, or whoever, but they're not going to come to it and they're not going to buy anything. That's brand recognition for you. What you're trying to do is spread the word to drive people to your business. So we've got these fantastic social media campaigns, and this is not tech class today, but obviously you need to find in your market center how to create a campaign and get one out there for 10 days. And they cost $30. And, you know, if it's not in your budget, that's fine. But that money could be well spent to get prospect, because when you do a campaign for this listing, and don't worry, it's going to say this listing is that other agent's name. It automatically populates. That way it's out there. You can target the town. When COVID started, we had a lot of people coming out more to the country here in our area. We were doing campaigns for homes in Westford and Littleton, but we targeted Watertown and Somerville, because those people are buying, they're the ones that are going to see it. We had an influx of people kind of coming out of the city. They're all going back, I think. But so if this property is on the water, or if it has a pool, you can do keywords. We've done them we had a condo and it was on the river, a nice fishing river. I didn't know it, but that's what it was. And so the keywords, we put nature lovers and canoeing and bird watching and fishing and, so people who are on Facebook who fish, my Facebook is full of, shoes and pocketbook, but so all of that is how you can get people to that property. So let's not forget that one piece. Does anybody have any questions on that right there?
I have a comment to share on that.
Yeah, great.
First of all, I was on my phone earlier. I got an emergency call from the office. I wasn't babbling with the microphone off. You don't have to spend $30. It defaults to $30. You can actually say, no, I only want to spend $10.
Yeah.
And whenever I do an open house, I always post both a campaign, which is a paid ad, and a social post. The social post goes to your page, so your friends and family see it. And the paid ad, as Deb said, you describe the kind of person you want to attract. Are they into fishing? Are they into hiking in the woods? And it's not something, this is where the artificial intelligence and Facebook comes in. And yes, Big Brother is watching you. You don't have to have anything in your profile that alludes to that.
Yeah.
Just the fact that you looked at a post, you were scrolling through and you stopped at a fishing thing or a picture of, it records that. And it puts a little check marks. Yes. Deb likes shoes. Steve likes ocean walks. Kelly likes this. And when you put in those keywords, that's who gets the ad.
Right. Very, go ahead.
And not only do you get not only do they see your ad, if they happen to click on it, you get their information,
Right.
their
That's
name,
the-
their phone number, and their email address. And son of a gun, you never get Santa Claus, Fred Flintstone, or Jesus Christ coming through those social ads. So
You
it's
do. Yeah.
well, but it's very rare, and it's a great inexpensive way of getting your message out to people.
Right. So that's an important piece, Steve. Put it out in your own thing and put it out with some keywords that for the type of property, and you're getting double exposure. All your friends see how busy you are, right? Okay, so I think well said, Steve, because yes, you do, you get Elvis Presley and this and that, but people click in, learn, when people say learn more, they fill it in. And in those leads go directly into your campaign, that you can email them, hey, thanks for, my thing, I'm doing an open house this weekend and hope to see you there. And now it's your job to prospect and pursue. And that's where we're kind of going into the next piece here. We're prospecting, right? And then we're doing some, actual, what do we do here when we're at the open house, right? So we're kind of going into the building report. Now we're driving people to the property, where we've done our social medias, we've done our door knocking. Let's talk about prospecting and what we're going to do when we're there. Right? The prospect stage is all about hosting the open house and capturing leads. Okay, yes, you're there to show the house and you need to know a good, amount of it, but not everything. And you want to successfully promote and host your open house. So we're getting people, what's the logistics here? What does everybody do first? Their open house is Sunday from 1 to 3. We've invited the neighbors over, at 12:30. What do we do? What's the plan?
Just go back to the previous slide just for a second. I was
Yep.
almost done.
Charles, what market center are you in?
I am in Leading Edge, Rhode Island.
Oh, okay. Yeah, these campaigns are awesome. And thank you, Steve, for mentioning you can do a $10 one. And this is great too for that listing agent, for like Cynthia. That listing agent's going to be able to say, hey, I had my top girl out there, she's done her social media ad and she's doing,
Almost set.
all of that. So yeah, let's make sure we, do everything we can. So we're going to build rapport. So we've got our open house. What time do we get there?
Early,
We're
12 o'clock.
At least a half an hour before.
Absolutely. You need, and why do you want to do that? What are we doing?
You want to prep the house, you want to turn all the lights on, you want to make sure that you also take a mental picture of how the house was left so that you can leave it the same way. You just want to make, like, if there's any trash in the lawn, you kind of want to pick it up, just like little things that help the house present well.
You could even take a video and post it on Facebook and just say, come see this house. I'm doing an open house, starts in a half hour.
Right. And I agree with that. Absolutely, positively do that. But I'm going to give a one safety thing, Cynthia, when you're there. We are here at the open house.
Oh, that's a good
Hey,
idea.
Charles, how we doing? Get my son. Don't look like you're sitting at the home by yourself. Pretend that Charles or Roger or somebody's there with you, or Kelly or somebody. Hey, Kelly and I are over here. Come on over. It's a beautiful home. Just make sure because we want everybody to be safe with that.
That's great advice. That's
Right.
great advice.
Deb, you bring up a great point there. As a guy, we might not be so concerned, but as a woman, especially if you're on your own, we're having busy open houses, so it might not be a huge factor, but at the tail end and at the beginning, you're most vulnerable when nobody's there.
Yeah.
Walk through the house and say, if something were to happen to yourself, where would I go? Always keep your access close to you, or no, if I'm in this room, I would go there. if you're going down a hall and there's no egress out of that end, let the clients go down the hall. Don't
Yeah.
get sucked into going down the hall. Same with basement access.
Yeah,
And
no, you
keep
go look at the
yourself-
basement. That's good. I don't want to get down on my heels, you
Yep.
know, and guys can get in trouble too. It's not just women. You gotta, you know, so let's be aware, have a protocol, make sure, you know, check with your office, check with your TL or your coach. What is the deal here? You know, have something with your spouse or your kids or somebody, you know, have your phone with you, be aware. I mean, it's, you know, crazy stuff does happen. For the most part, you know, you're in good shape, but we will go through some of those safety things as well. And so we get there a half hour early. We turned on the lights. COVID, you know, we want to make sure, you know, we're being really careful with everything. Sometimes it is good to have an assistant, not only so you're not there by yourself, maybe somebody greeting, because you may have, Cynthia, you may have 20 people coming through or 50. You don't know. So it may not hurt for you to have a helper. I don't know, something to think about. So what do we do? We're prospecting, and now we're building rapport. We're going to greet everyone that walks in the door. We're going to have guests sign in, and we're going to go through a couple of options for that. We're going to ask some probing questions. We're going to identify willingness, and we're going to show them. This is the other thing you might want to have in your system, a neighborhood, you know, some sort of a snapshot of what's going on in that area, right? So how do we build rapport when we have an open house?
Ask lots of open-ended questions.
Yeah, and what questions do you ask, or more importantly, what questions can't you ask, for all of you who've been to fair housing?
Just ask them if they're currently looking, or you just checking out the house, if they live in the neighborhood, or you know, if they are looking, you know, do they have a buyer representation, or what do you like about the neighborhood? Just anything to get them to talk back to you.
Right. Who else has some questions? Cynthia, what are you going to ask people? Picking on.
Well, yeah. Well, you know, are you looking specifically in this town? Are there any other towns that you're looking into? Have you been to other open houses? Have you viewed this house before? You know, well, basically, what are they looking in a home? Because I mean, it could fit them perfectly, or it could not at all. Are you in the market to buy? Are you just out looking? I don't know. I talk a lot, so I don't think I'll have a problem, but I do want to make sure I ask the right questions. I also don't want to look, you know, like I don't know what I'm talking about. I want to look very professional. So this is good.
Who has one question that she should be asking?
Do you have an agent?
You gotcha, Nellie. You're on it. You might want to say, are you working with someone? Right? And what do we do when they say, yes, I'm working with Nellie? What do we do?
I would say, well, I don't have my card with me, but you can give me your number and I'll send you the disclosures if you want to have a second look at it, or
Right.
in that line. But then you're also getting their number and their information, and they're agreeing to get more information from you.
Right. That's a good point. I want to go back to that. What do we, don't let me forget that. What do we do if they say, I am working with, you know, I don't know, Aaron Byrne? What do we do if they say they're working with somebody else? Nope, I'm working with my friend Aaron.
Say, okay, enjoy, you know, if you have any questions on the house, please let me know.
Good, exactly. Yep. And we still have them, and we'll get to the next slide, shows sort of how to capture these leads. But I like Nellie's point about not having, everybody should keep their business cards at home in the kitchen and never have business cards with you. I know it goes against everybody's inner instinct to, oh, I have my business cards, I'm going to give them to everybody. It's best to say, oh, I just gave out my last business card. Let me grab your number and I'll get back to you with that. Has anybody heard of that trick? Not a trick, a tip.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
because
have heard of
you
that
know,
one.
you give somebody your business card, they're gonna stick in their pocket or their wallet and then forget about it, or they'll see it and, you know, the higher chance of that going in the trash than them calling you. But if you capture their information, you've got what you need.
Yep.
Yeah, you're in
And you
control
can
of it
send
all.
them your business card.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can still give it to them, but capture their information first. Then, oh my gosh, I found one. Okay, Jennifer has a question.
Oh, yeah, I was just wondering, say there's a buyer that comes in and they do have an agent that's maybe with them at the open house. Would you also get the agent's information that's representing them?
It depends. I would get the information because if it's you, you want to be able to say to your client, hey, an agent came by and I'll follow up with her later to see what her people think. Or Cynthia can be able to report back to her person, say, hey, you had 3 people with agents with them. If an agent's coming with them, that buyer is probably in decision-making mode.
Okay.
So it's very important to get their information and follow up and let that person do their thing. You don't need to be helping that buyer agent, unless of course they need something from you, but you know, let them do their thing. And when I say we want to be respectful of other agents, people, you don't want somebody stealing your people. So let's, you know, the key is, are they really working with somebody, or are they just quick enough to make up a name before they get to the door? So, you know, these are the kind of things you find out. And, you know, when you're doing open houses, you want to ask a lot of questions and you want to be chatty, but you want them to talk and you want to listen. Very important, particularly with our high eyes who just like to chat and talk. It's sometimes best to have a little thing that says, why am I talking? Let's, you know, it's a radio station, WAIT, right? Let's listen, because you will learn.
That is
Noted, because, you know, you definitely want to hear what they have to say. And then you can, you know, you can care about what they're saying and what they're doing, because nobody cares about what you know until they know that you care about them. That's sort of one of my lines, because it's so true. So here's our prospect capture the lead thing. There's several, and there's one more that's not up here. There's definitely one of the absolute, we're in prospecting section still. One of the most important prospecting tool in your open house toolbox will be the capturing the contact information of the prospects that visit the open house, so you can add them to your database and then nurture them, put them on a follow-up system. You know, the best practice is always to have people sign in. Now, we have a lot of different opinions on the sign-in scene. Very first thing, though, you must say, and I think it's great wording, that says, could you please sign in? I assured my clients that every person that walks in their door is going to sign in. Now, those words speak to you protecting and being careful of the seller. I've assured the clients that everyone will be signing in. Okay, that's what you've assured them. I will sign in. The question is, how do you have them sign in? Do you have a paper sheet that they sign, which is in the toolkit? You can make your own, whatever, and you print them out, and you have them on a clipboard and people sign in. What's the good and bad about that?
Jesus Christ comes.
No, people, well, yeah, right. Well,
That's the
what
bad,
else?
you know.
What else is the bad? I'm letting you guys come to it. What's the bad part? It's not bad. What can be problematic with people signing in on
You
paper?
you can't read the writing.
You can't read their writing. Cannot read their writing. Even if they really try hard to write it correctly, it's very hard to read it. So the other option is just you get their name. Hey, can I have your name and your number and your email? And you take it. That's good as well. And then this guy here, you can create a neighborhood landing page. You can create a welcome to my open house page. It's just one of these. You can get it in designs, ask your market center trainer, have somebody to show you how to do this. It takes about 5 minutes. You have a laptop or your iPad and people will walk over and they will fill it in. And the beauty of this is that lead now goes directly, into your contacts. You have your information. Yes, you're going to get Elvis Presley and some fake email, but there's something about people writing in their name, first name, last name, and email that is almost, they just will do it correctly. You do that so much all day. It just works. Dominic, do you have a question?
No.
Okay, so Ian, there's a little thing that says leave a note. I wish it said, are you working with an agent? So when you say to people, hey, can you sign in? I've assured my clients that everyone is going to sign in. If you have an agent, just throw their name in there. Now, how does everybody like that piece?
That's great.
Now, there's one more thing that is not on the slide, which we've been doing a lot of, and it can work really well, is creating a QR code of this thing. And, you know, QR codes used to be a thing, and then they kind of went away. But with COVID and restaurants and everybody now, people will, you have a QR code and people just take their phone and they'll fill it out. Just like that. So you can either have it up on your computer or you simply print that QR code and you put it in one of those clear things. Say, hey, sign in, you know, something kind of cute. You put it in one of those clear things and people will walk over with their phone and do it. Now that doesn't help the flip phone people and, you know, but so you might want a backup of paper if you choose something like that. So what does everybody think about that?
I like that idea. I think my mother, you know, she's 89. She wants to sell a house in Arizona. She doesn't want people walking through her house. Like she can't believe that people walk through people's houses. So
How are people going to see her house?
I know I've told her that a million times, but I think by doing this, it shows the person that we are protecting the homeowner by putting in your name so we know everybody who has been in this house.
Absolutely. So that's something that I think is extremely important. Remember, people coming to that open house are going to be probably sellers. So if they see you handling it in this manner, they're going to go, wow, that Kelly lady, let's call her. She really did a good job. She was there early. It's nothing worse than going to an open house and having somebody, and I've been it too, I'll admit it, fumbling at the front door 2 seconds before the thing opens. You've got to be prepared. This is your whole week. You've been focused on this thing. Let's make sure we're doing it at a very, very high level. So yeah, let's make sure we get a good landing page. So
if I can interrupt for a second.
Of course.
Richard Judson posted a link to the Marty Miller video on setting up a landing page. It's a quick, easy thing to do. And yes, people type a lot better than they write.
Yeah. And it comes very naturally to them. You do it all day long. So yeah, absolutely. Anytime you need any information, you look up Marty Miller and he's got a video on it. Save that name, bookmark his stuff, follow him because he's very quick and easy, right, Steve? He's like just get things done. So we talked a little bit. Why don't we go through this a little, then we'll take a break and then we'll come back and kind of continue on. I feel like the elemental section of Ignite doesn't seem to take as long as the first part, but we want to make sure we give you all the content. So let's talk about, and Roger talked about this a little bit before. Again, this is a national, class. So we want to do what we need to be doing here in New England. So this one says park on the street. Obviously, we want to meet the neighbors. Never turn your back on a prospect. Okay. Always let people walk in front of you. I never go down the basement unless I don't know. I just go check it out. You let me know if you have any questions. Always want to know where you're coming. Never go into a bathroom with anybody. And always let somebody know where you're going to be, and make sure everything is charged. Your cell phone's charged, your computer, that's just not the safety thing. You can make sure your computers, everything is charged. You are ready. You're ready to do what you're planned all week to do, right? What other things might we want to do in terms of safety? Yeah, and this is all in the handbook, and you know, your market center might have some protocols. Some people have like a code red thing you can do with someone, that you call the office, or you call, you know, make something if something's going down, that you have someone to you know, that knows that you might be in trouble. So what, not, I don't want to, you know, take break on this, but what are some ahas from the whole morning so far? Now we're going to get into pursuing. What's a takeaway from the morning? Anything?
I like the landing page.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I mean, command is a beast. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there. I know it's a lot for newer agents to, you know, kind of go through, but these little landing pages, sign-in sheets, QR code. Remember, the QR code is not just for that house. It's a sign-in sheet. So get a few of these things locked down so you don't have to do it and reinvent the wheel. You want your basket. Does everybody have a basket that they have for their open house? And, you know, with booties and a clipboard and hand sani and toilet paper and a flashlight or tape measure. You know, you should have, as you become a more active agent, you don't want to be running around all the time. What other things might you do real quick in terms of, you know, just preparing and while you're at the open house? Because now then we're going to move to pursue after break. Pursue.
I always have cookies in the oven.
Okay, that the old cookies in the oven, right? What
you
else?
know, you buy that package of Nestle's Toll House, you put 3 or 4 in, you do it for the duration, so the house always smells of fresh baked cookies.
All
And
right.
it just, you know, it's just, I have them out in a tray with bottles of water with, you know, with my name and stuff on it. And I get a lot of chuckles from other agents, you know, like, you know, can't you do another cookie or something? But, you know, it makes the house smell a little bit better.
Mhm.
And it's not, you know, I mean, I hate when you walk into an open house and they just took the can of Febreze and
Ugh,
emptied the whole
yep.
thing in the place and you're choking.
15 candles going. Yep.
Yeah, you know, and it just makes the place smell like home.
Yeah. All right. What's the 1 or 2 other best practice? Somebody was going to say something. I interrupted.
It's me, sorry. I do like the QR code. I can tell you why, because during COVID, there was an open house that I helped with, and it was pouring down rain. And luckily for us, the house was empty. So that meant the garage was empty. So what we did is we opened the garage, we put a sign up on the window with a telephone number, and it said, text this number when you arrive, and you will be texted when you're allowed to come in, because you had to control how many people is going in the house at a time. Otherwise, people call the cops on you. So we had to control, but this way you were also collecting information. You also ask if they're with an agent. So with an agent, your name, and text me when you arrive, and we will text you when you come. Otherwise, you're in and out of the house, also getting sopping wet. But what I like about the QR code is you can actually post it at the end of the driveway saying, text this number, instead of them coming into the garage. Then they can wait in their car as well. Because I think that day there was probably well over 40 groups of people that came through. So this was a good way to control traffic, but also collect information while you're doing it. So that's something we've done in the past.
And that's the important piece. And that's what we're really going to move to. You've taken your time. You're doing an open house. This is all for free on your own dime here. So we want to make sure you get the highest return on your investment, which at this moment might be $10 for a campaign, and it's your own time, and that your value, your time is valuable. So we want to make sure that we're doing everything that we can do to, I'm going to stop screen share here for a sec, that we're doing everything, where's my thingy, that we can do to, what the heck? Sorry, I'm just trying to stop the screen share here for a minute. Yeah, we want to make sure that we're doing what we need to do to make sure this thing is super duper effective, right? So what do you guys think about a little 10-minute break? We'll take a break, come back, everybody get a glass of water, a little snack or something, and then we'll meet back here at 10:30. And I just can't figure out why I can't open this thing. So yeah, let's take a quick break. We'll be back at 10:30. If anybody has any questions, I can stay on. Roger, you hanging out? What are you doing?
Yeah, I can hang out if you want to take a little break, Deb. That's fine.
I'm trying to stop the screen share.
Did you give control to Steve maybe, or what happened there?
Oh yeah, maybe. Hold on. Let me look at me.
Let me see,
Let me
'cause
look.
I can
Where am I? Hold on.
stop
Let me undid myself here. More. Yeah, Steve, I think
Okay,
you're
hold on.
host.
There we go.
All right.
Thank you,
cool.
Steve.
Awesome. Perfect. All right. Good.
Now let's hope we can get the screen back.
Well, right.
What the heck? All right. Yeah. So I think I can get it back.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, guys, I got to make 2 phone calls. I'll be back. I'll see you all back at 10:30.
Roger. I wanted to tell Deb I'm going to have to step out in about 45 minutes to go help stage a house, but I'll be listening through my phone. Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. Thank you so much.
No, you're very welcome. Enjoy your day.
You too.
I know why your neck hurts.
All right, how's everyone doing? We're back in action.
Because when I sit and type, I'm looking at the up, I'm not like that.
And plus, a lot of my training for that.
Let's see who we have here for peeps. All right, so are we all back in action here, ready to get going? Roger's here. Oh, looks like Roger might still be on a call. Kelly's back. All right, let me do this. All
I'm
right.
back.
All right, good deal. Hold on. All right, so we're gonna do a little screen share. So yeah, let's, so we've talked a lot about, hold on, let me do this. Is it possible to get a recording of these classes? Yeah, they're all recorded. I don't know, I'm sorry, but where do they get them? On the YouTube channel? Do you know, Steve?
Yeah, they're on the KW New England YouTube channel. It takes them about a day to upload them. So
Okay.
this one should be up, let's say 4 o'clock this afternoon.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. And yeah, you want to definitely follow that page. Can everybody see pursue, follow up, and convert?
Yep.
Okay, so we prepared. We've done everything we can to get people to this place. We've prospected. We've done our campaigns. We've done, everything we can. And we're ready. We're dressed. We're there early. We're doing our way. They're signing in. Everybody's great. So now we're in the we're in the pursue stage. Remember, in the pursue stage of the open house process, you want to get a system to stay in connection with these people. Don't worry about if the lead says I'm not gonna buy for 6 months or 5 years, or they're not buying at all, or whatever. They're looking for their mother, they're looking for their kids. There's a lot of stories, and that's just people's way of protecting themselves. They don't want to be bugged, So we've captured the leads though, right? We're in this section over here. We've connected, we've interacted, we face to face. One open house can potentially get you in front of a lot of people. So you want to now squeeze every ounce of things you can get out. Steve, did you want to make a comment?
No.
Okay, thought you were I interrupted you. So yeah, we've connected. Now it's time to cultivate and nurture and move them forward and figure out where they are in the world. You've captured a lead during the open house. We want to cultivate that lead. What do we want to do first? Hello?
Put them in our database.
Nice, Linda. You put them in your database. Hopefully you've got them automatically in because you either use the QR code or something, but get them in your database. When should you follow up with them?
ASAP.
Like when?
I usually try to get in touch with somebody, if not maybe that afternoon, but certainly by the next day.
Yeah, I've known people if you're going to do this open house, remember, you're going to do it at the highest level. The best practice, I think, and you guys we can discuss, is to follow up that afternoon, 5 or 6 o'clock. Your day is open house is a long work day for you guys. You want to call them up or text them, hey, thanks so much for coming to my open house. If they've been to a bunch, they're not really going to remember you. And then you should say, is there anything on any of the open houses that you need some help on? I have MLS, I can get plot plans and lead paint things, and how can I help you? We're never asking for business, we're offering to help people. And you definitely will, somebody might, hey, we went and looked at this one over here, and we're concerned about whether or not we can put a pool in. Oh, no worries, I'll get the plot plan and let me find out what So when you call them that day, they're still in open house mode, tomorrow, and we want to be the first one that calls. First one to the thing wins the race, right? So we want to capture their lead, get them into your database, and then we are going to follow up that night. You know, just text, hey, thanks for coming to my thing, right? And then we're going to potentially do some tagging, right? Let's look at some best practice here. Yeah, so we want to tag, get them in our thing, tag them. Are they immediate buyer? Are they maybe a seller? Are they long-term future or long-term buyer or long-term seller? All of these things help you customize a follow-up plan to know where they're at. We love, remember guys, embrace people that aren't going to sell for a while. Okay? Because they're your pipeline. And if you nurture them now and you stay in touch with them, they'll be yours. You won't have to chase anybody. They're there. They'll be sitting there waiting for you. So let's make sure that we are doing a really good job on determining. That's why we want to listen, so we can find out what they're up to, and we want to follow up, and that way we can put them on a particular thing. So let's talk about some best practice, 4 ways to stand out during an open house. What do we think about hosting a speaker? Offer a gift. Get the house in showing shape and go live, right? So what do you guys think about that? Hosting a speaker, what do you think that means? Let's discuss that. Host a speaker at your
We
open
invite a
house.
lender
Mhm.
to talk about a particular subject, first time home buyer, if it's that type of house, or if it's like a more of an investment property, maybe invite them to speak about that. Or
Okay. It's great to have a speaker, or just somebody there. A, it's somebody there with you. And B, a lender can be great, as long as the lender doesn't hijack your open house. You know, make sure it's a lender that you have a good relationship with. And as we know, we've been talking about it for, you know, this is part of your team. You have good lenders, you have good home inspectors, good attorneys, good tax people, good roofing. So hosting a speaker can be, I don't know, hosting a speaker, but have somebody there that can speak to something other than you as the real estate agent. How about offering a gift? Anybody have any thoughts on that?
Like have like a little basket of,
Yeah, Halloween basket with goodies. And if you fill out, you know, if you fill out this little form on, you know, who's your favorite this and what kind of house, if you won the mega box, where would you move? And just a fun thing. And that would be more of like something on Facebook or at your open house. Say, hey, I've got this cute Halloween basket with candy corn and some mug and some handy Sandy. And, you know, even your speaker person might even pay for that, you know, and he or she can throw their cards in, and then you raffle it off for people that came through. And it's a way to capture people's information, another way to capture people's information, right? And you know, I think it's a great idea. You know, even an Amazon gift card, people will like, you know, just something as a thank you for coming here, sign in, you'll be entered into a drawing and it'll be announced later on my Facebook page or something or whatever. Put together, and now, you know, these are all the things that you want to do to be the highest level, best agent you can for this client or any future clients. And, you know, get the house in showing shape. I think it was Charles that said, get there and kind of tidy up and make sure it's looking okay. And I love number 4 of go live on Facebook. And remember, people don't want to watch anything for more than, you know, 45 seconds. Okay. You know, just, hey, you know, I'm over here at 127 Main Street, Roger and I, hey, Raj, how you doing? You know, and then go live and I'm here, come on by and let me know if you have any questions, and your friends will see you and they'll like it and they'll share, and, you know, it's just more exposure. So let's be brave and do it. And I'm telling you, don't practice, just do it. Right. And you will get a lot of exposure for yourself. And it's the way to go. I don't know if anybody was at Mega Camp. That's really what we heard about being live and being out there. So we talked a little bit about the do's and the don'ts, and we definitely want to kind of talk about this a little bit more. We obviously want to welcome visitors and agents, and thinking about safety. Don't leave valuables exposed. Don't leave messy meals or snacks, and don't make assumptions about people. Obviously, your sellers, you've had a discussion with the seller or the list agent has. Make sure there's no money around, jewelry, there's no drugs in the medicine cabinet, that whole thing where people go in and rifle through people's medicine cabinets. So I want to make sure that we're, and don't make assumptions. What do you think that means?
Don't assume somebody's not qualified based on your assumption to buy that house, because you'll be surprised.
Well, what do you mean by that, Roger?
Well, sometimes people come in and they just seem a little skittish or seem standoffish. I've all types of people come through, and I've had somebody walk up to me and do the extreme other opposite to go, I want to make an offer right now. And you're like, well, be prepared for that as well.
Yep. What do we do? Let's have some masterminding here. First of all, I just want to back up a little on the follow-up. Where'd I go? The follow-up here.
Yeah. One more maybe back.
Yeah, I don't know.
You looking for the funnel?
I just wanted to talk a little bit more on follow-up. We talked about, following up that night, which is super important. Just get used to doing that. What else do we do with these folks that we have in our database now? What are some things that we need to be doing to make sure that we're nurturing these folks?
Put them on a smart plan.
Yeah.
Or a neighborhood nurture,
All right, here we go. What else? Yeah, real quick. Yeah, neighborhood search, smart plan.
Property search.
Yeah, get them into, if they're not working with an agent, that's a really good way to know if they're really working with an agent. Does your agent have you on an MLS search where you get something every day? Everything new, or every 15 minutes of something is new. And if they say, no, not really, then you say, oh, well, I can always put you on, or you got to be careful with that. But yes, what other things do you want to do to kind of follow up? We have smart plans. We have MLS searches. Anything else?
I was thinking of putting together like a question of the day, a word of the day, just send out an email, a word of the week, something like that, just like a game to, oh, there's Kelly again. What's she saying today? Maybe a good quote or something like that, just to keep them engaged, but not have it about real estate.
Are you thinking a Facebook type of thing that people follow, or are you talking about
No, an email campaign?
What
Email.
does everybody think about that idea? Good idea?
You could share your app with them.
Yeah. What else do we do to stay in touch with people? I like that, Kelly. And you're right, Rich, share that app. And it's supposedly going to be all fabulous soon. We're just kind of waiting for some final tech stuff to make it a little bit more user friendly. I don't know. I haven't had an update on that in a while. So we've got smart plans. Go ahead, Kelly.
I was living in Arizona, and one of the real estate people there was like a zoo lights thing going on, and she rented the park for, I don't know, a couple hours, and invited all her whole mailing list to come and just enjoy the zoo lights. And she had light snacks and refreshments. That was a pretty big event, but
yeah, and that probably costs a little bit of money, and that's what we want to be focused on in the beginning here. We want to lead with revenue, and we want to do things in the beginning that don't cost a lot. All of your leads right now are in your phone, right? And now we're getting open house. Every time you do something, it's going to create more action for you. So I love the smart plan. I love the email campaigns. Is everyone using Twilio and getting text messages out? They're a huge part of the smart plans. What are we doing on that?
that's a cost a month, isn't it, Twilio?
Well, $4 or $5. The big super duper account is $12. But who is using smart plans right now at high level?
I am.
I do.
Okay, good. And do you have the oh, I am host, okay. And are you getting good results on your smart plans and using the text feature?
I get good response on the text messages, and what I really like about them is you have to read the message before you can delete it.
Yeah.
You know, with an email, you're looking at your directory and you're going delete, 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 delete. When you get a text message, it's there on your phone.
Yeah.
And it's short and sweet, and the people see it. Even if they then say delete, the back of their head is still registered Steve DeAngelis Real Estate.
Yeah. You know, we do get a lot of reservation on the texting in the smart plans and the Twilio account, and literally it's $4 or $5 a month for a basic one that you guys find very effective. You can do simple smart plans that just says Happy Halloween, and then it delays and it says Happy Thanksgiving. You know, look. Here's a quick one. If you want to go on a little thing to stay in touch with people, use the Nick Baldwin Halloween smart plan. Okay, but it's all text, so you have to have your account. I'm going to encourage it. I don't, work for Twilio. I like it. We use it all the time, and it's a very, very, very good tool. And who doesn't want to get a cute thing on Halloween that says, hey, I hope you have a good day, whether you're running around with kids or not. And then it delays it automatically, and then it comes into a Thanksgiving. Hey, I hope you have a great day. Don't eat too much turkey, and then it delays it 20 days or whatever. Happy holidays. I'm so happy to have, people like you in my life. And then 7 days, Happy New Year. I hope this next year is better. So let's make sure we're utilizing this command system for some of these passive. It's never going to replace you calling people or talking to people, but it certainly can support and nurture, because that's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to nurture, right? So just we talked a little bit about what you need for your little basket to have at open houses all the time, and then how we're going to follow up. So we've got our prospects, we've captured them. Now they're contacts. We've had a two-way conversation with them. We're getting them on smart plans, right? Who has some other thoughts of follow-up? And then we'll kind of keep her moving here. Do's and don'ts.
I always give them, I contact them that day, at the end of the day. But I always call them 2 or 3 days later to say, do you have any other questions about the property, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Just a friendly hello, letting them know that I'm there and I can help them.
Right.
It's so many real estate agents just do everything via email. They'll put them on an email campaign. And what they don't realize is they're getting that same message from 5 other realtors and they're not reading anything. But when you make that personal outreach, and even if you get their answering machine, it's, leave a message, hi, this is Steve. We met at the open house at 25 Smith Street. Just wondering if you have any other questions on the property or any real estate questions I can answer for you. Just something very short and simple. After you've checked the number against the do not call list.
Right. Always fun. Yeah. And I agree with that, Steve. And, we can talk about that a little bit more, how, yes, we have command and we have smart plans and we have easy text messages, but everybody does that. I mean, I know myself, I get the same email from 3 different lenders that work at the same company every month. And they literally come right in at the same time. So that doesn't impress me too much. But if they call me, now I'm interested in them, So this is something that I think a lot of agents struggle with a bit, that first of all, they're a little bit shy about even saying they're an agent. That's a challenge. And I don't know, why that's a thing, but we want to make sure nobody's a secret agent here. Remember, we've started this open house plan. We've been working on it every day. Now we've put 7 days into it, all day on Sunday. You're calling people that night. Don't give up the ship. Have some nice passive stuff, but you've got to remember to call people, right?
Oh.
Anybody have any thoughts on that?
What I like to tell new agents is, look, we're not dealing with those telephones that we had 40 years ago where they could slam down the thing in the receiver and it would reverberate off your ear. There's no button on their cell phone that destroys the universe. So if they say no and hang up, fine, but just make the phone call. Because if you get one person that says, yes, I need to buy a house, I don't like that one, can you help me?
Yeah.
That's going to pay all the bills for the month.
Absolutely.
And those are the, and if the person says no, well, thank you very much, and go on with your day.
Right, because remember, the main goal of this business is to get into relationships with people. When they know, like, and trust you, they're more likely to do business with you. When you're looking at a lead generating model over here, and why is the arrow pointing down? Because eventually you want to get down here at an appointment. And yes, you may have a buyer and you call enough, it's a numbers game too. The more people you connect with, all of a sudden someone's going to go, yes, I think I do want to buy something. Everybody's on that ladder. I've talked about this before, the big ladder that people jump and do this, those big high diving boards. Everybody is on a different rung of that ladder until they get way up top, and then they jump. And then they technically get down and get on the bottom rung of another ladder. So your point as your job as an agent is to have lots of people on those rungs and lots of ladders, because eventually somebody's going to say, yes, I have gone up the ladder. I'm now ready to make a move. Same thing, and we're focused on buyers here. Same thing with sellers. If you've done a really good job at that open house and you've really nurtured a seller, then you will very likely, more likely than another agent, get that listing. So we want to cultivate, and we want to prospect and market, do our leads, get our contacts into the system and get connected. Then we're going to cultivate and be interactive and action-based touch programs, which include passive and aggressive. No, passive and
Assertive.
personal. What is it, Roger?
Assertive.
Assertive. We want to make sure that we are, talking to people, because what's the next thing that we want? Right here. We're going to get an appointment. We can call people all day long, but at some point we have to say, do you want my help? How can I help you? Go 3 deep. When you run into somebody and they say, how's the business? It must be crazy. You say, it is a little bit crazy. Why do you ask? Are you thinking of making a move? People do like to talk about real estate for sure. It's a very, very important topic in people's lives right now, because if they own a home, they're very interested in knowing how much and where their equity is. They're thinking of buying a home. They're in that painful process of being a buyer right now, and the more likely, you're more likely to get an appointment with somebody if you've really taken care of them and brought value to the table, right? Why do you think that's important? It is, right? It's just what we do, and let's just make sure we're keeping at it. So let's continue on here. Again, we're running a little bit ahead schedule, but we'll be okay. So let's go ahead.
So Deb, just a little backing up to the follow-up, and keep in mind too, that even with texting and what have you, depending on how you're doing, if you're leaving messages and whatnot, it may take 7 to 11 times statistically to get somebody to respond. So hang in there, keep doing it.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example of one where one of my coaching clients was texting. I think it was probably the 4th text she had sent, totally ghosted, totally ignored. She thought she was wasting her time. And then randomly, like a week later, that particular person happened to be a guy who she had met at an open house. She was trying to follow up and get in touch with, called her and said, "Hey, I just saw this house. I want to put in an offer in a house." So, I mean, you got to stick with it too. Don't give up on the first or second attempt. Keep going.
You're only gonna call someone once.
Uh-oh.
I got
What's
it.
that?
If you're only gonna call someone once,
Don't waste your time.
work. Don't bother. Because you might be calling and leaving messages and they're just not responding and ghosting you, but they might still think you guys are in a relationship.
Right.
So don't give up. Stay steady, have a system, and keep moving. Just really, really keep moving forward in absorbing everything that you've learned. So let's talk a little bit about ahas to achievement, a little bit of a recap. The goal of our time together is to help you think, feel, act, and use what you've learned to ignite your passion and help you achieve your big why. So who wants to have a discussion? How has your thinking changed and what ideas or mindsets were new for you? And I'd like you guys to write these things down. Who wants to say how their thinking has changed during this Ignite open house panel discussion? Kelly?
Well, I have a question. I'm sorry that I don't think we touched upon, and that was videotaping. Some people have cameras set up in their house.
Mm-hmm.
How do you overcome that?
Oh, well, what do you mean overcome it?
Well, I thought there was a document or something that we're supposed to let people know that they possibly could be audioed or videotaped while
Yes,
they.
two things. The listing contract specifically has the seller acknowledge whether or not they are videoing and audio recording. My suggestion is assume whether they've checked that box or not, you're being audio and videoed. Just assume it. People put cameras and teddy bears and the whole, the Rice Krispie box. So just assume, and if you're doing what you're doing and you're doing your open house at a high level, then you're okay,
So we don't have to alert the people walking in the house that they could be being videotaped.
I don't know, Roger, what do you think about that? I've never had a feeling I had to alert someone.
So yeah, it's one of those things. You can use your own sense here. If you have a sign-in sheet, that could be a little asterisk disclaimer. Hey, just keep in mind, generic, there could be a monitoring device, nanny cam type of device on the property. Anybody coming into somebody else's home, you're monitoring them at a minimum. You're keeping an eye on them. That's what you're there for. Part of it's security and securing the valuables in the home and securing the home from damage, securing people from, so for example, if you walked into a bedroom or we're outside a bedroom and you noticed a drawer being opened, that's a violation, so to speak. That it's almost consensual. But if somebody opens a closet door to kind of gaze in and look and see what the space looks like, that would be understandable, So, hey, I would just put a disclaimer right in my sign-in sheet. If that's something you're not comfortable and you want to feel like you're informing people, go ahead.
Absolutely.
There could be surveillance on the property,
I feel like I would, if I was taking clients to a house and I knew that the sellers had cameras, I think I would tell buyers that there is cameras or recording. A lot of people don't like to be recorded. And it's even like these telephone calls where they say it's being recorded. You can say, no, I don't want to be recorded. So I think in some cases I would want to warn clients that they are being recorded because there is privacy concerns there.
Yeah.
When in doubt, just disclose.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think as a buyer agent, because people say things when they're walking around a house. Open a closet door and it's all this kind of closed and nothing's on the other side, I think as a buyer in your buyer consultation, it's a good practice to say, hey, just so you know, most everyone, whether they disclose or not, there could be some video or audio. Is that okay with you? You know, some people are, you know, like Nellie says, may not want that. So that's something as times change, we have to,
You have to
we
recognize it, yeah.
we have to recognize it. And I do like that MLS has encouraged the seller to acknowledge what they're doing, you know, even though yeah. So that's a good question there. So how has who wants to share how their thinking has changed?
Oh, somebody's thinking's changed.
Yeah, ready for lunch.
Somebody's fussing. It's been too long.
Right, I get it. So anyone have their thinking changed or ideas or mindsets that were new to them? Let's hear from the group. Jennifer is raising her hand.
I actually just have a question. It's actually not quite the change.
Uh-oh. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jennifer.
You
You're
muted
muted.
her. She's
Oh, maybe
muted.
was the laughter in her
Maybe
background?
she's on the phone. No.
Jennifer is muted.
Yeah, we see.
Okay, sorry about
Oh,
that.
here we
I was
go.
just
Got her.
wondering, and I started to put the question in the comments. I was wondering, when you say you get the appointment, you get them to sign on as your seller, you have it listed in MLS. Like, I was wondering what the time frame is from when they have to get the house ready for the open house. Like, say they have to clean things or cut the lawn or something like that. Like, is there a typical time span for that you should allow them for that
Yeah.
process?
Yeah, that kind of goes into your listing consultation, seller
Oh,
appointment
okay.
section, but
Oh, okay.
basically overall, when you're going to list a property, you typically have a plan of what's our go live date. When
Okay.
is this house photo ready?
Oh,
And then you
right.
work your way
Okay.
backwards. So if can this house be photo ready by October 1st or October 5th or whatever it is? And then you say, we're
Okay.
gonna go live that day and you're gonna have an open house. I'm having an open house Saturday or Sunday.
Okay, so
Or
that
Saturday
helps
and
with
Sunday.
the time frame. Yeah, I was kind of curious of how that would work.
Yeah,
Thanks.
you want to make sure that you have enough time, and that's part of your listing consultation way back here.
Oh, okay.
You know,
That-
when do you
that's-
want,
that's how-
when do you want to move? And then we work our way backwards.
Oh, I
And the
see.
pivotal point is when do we go live? Because when we go live, the gates open.
Mm-hmm.
And we want this house, you know, day before you go live is picture ready.
Oh, I
Photograph.
see.
So we'll
Oh,
work you through all of that for sure.
okay, thanks.
Any other questions that are just sort of, I'm still looking for someone with ideas or mindsets that are new.
I'll share a new, if that's, I guess, well, a year and a half new, I suppose.
That's okay.
But we talk about Saturday and Sunday for open houses. I think we all should be giving access more around, throughout the week.
Mhm.
We've all run into the problem that it seems like, quote unquote, every open house is Saturday or Sunday, sometime between 10 and 2. You can't get to the properties I cover a pretty broad range, and it's been very difficult. Or if you have clients who are first responders and can't take the day or something. So try a 4 to 6 on a Wednesday and a 9 to 11 on Friday, and then a Saturday. 4 to 6 has been magical for me. People have been like in tears saying, oh my God, thank you so much for doing something differently. It works. And we've come out of a time, hopefully, but not fully quite yet, of the one open house for an hour and a half and then gone. That's not good for our sellers. It might be, maybe they're thrilled to have 6 offers right off the bat and they don't have to do anything else, and that's their choice. But think about the rest of the industry and how you can help make this a win for everybody involved. Too many buyers are dropping out because they can't even get into a house. Just shake it up a little bit and do things differently and slow it down.
Yeah, I agree with that, Sue, and it'll be interesting to see as time goes by. I think we're starting to see some of that break a little bit.
Yes, I agree.
Like, let's list the house on Wednesday and let's let people in on Thursday.
Right.
And let's make appointments on showing time and go in and look at the house. You know, don't hold it until Saturday and Sunday. Back in the day, that was called a pocket listing, and we weren't allowed to do that. You listed it and it had to be live the next day, which is still the rule. That's why they have created the non-MLS form. We won't get into the politics of all of that. But yeah, I do think it's inhibited the buyers. They have to make decisions. It's like they have no civil rights. They can't barely see a home and they have to make a decision to spend $1 million. And so, yeah, as time goes by, I think we'll see that loosen. In my area, I'm almost starting to see a little wind of it, because when the market does shift, it's going to be a whole nother ball game. And, you know, for those of us who have been around and seen it, you know, it's different. So yeah, it's a problem. And I think, you know, we are kind of seeing that. So, but that's a very good point. So do something different. Let people see the home. Explain to your sellers, your house is on the market now. It's now a product. It's not your house anymore. It's like a bottle of soda, or you know, let the buyers come in. They have to see the house. And the more people you let in, the more eyeballs are on that house, the more likely you're going to get a really solid deal. Any other thoughts on that topic?
Right, that's a good point to bring up when you're doing your selling consultation on exposing the house and explaining the benefits to that to a seller to get the seller's permission. And a lot of times, unfortunately, sometimes it's just the darn agents that are just being lazy, you know?
Oh, God, yeah.
But
and every agent is a certain, you know, Corey checked agent. It's not Joe Schmo walking through your house. It's a licensed real estate agent that has been checked by the PSA people or whoever they are, and they're going into your home. You're not just opening up open houses. You're letting more people that aren't. You're just letting people to come through. So we'll see. I do see that there'll be a shift in that at some point. I just can't predict when.
yeah, we're already starting to see a little bit of, you know, days on market are creeping up, inventories creeping up.
Yeah.
And when that happens, like anything, supply and demand, the market of the moment, that will all start to shift as things kind of equal out a little bit.
Yeah. And then people are going to have to learn what a 30, 60-day marketing plan looks like.
Right.
And people will be like, what?
How do you ask for a price reduction or a price amendment? Right.
Yep.
What's that script all about?
Yeah. So hopefully we're not there yet, but you know, things do change and shift. So how about, what does anybody feel differently about today in this class? What do you feel differently about open houses?
I have more confidence. I have a game plan now, so I appreciate it. I'm gonna look into is it Twilio? I'm gonna look into that.
Twilio.
Twilio.
I know, I always say it wrong, Twilio. Yeah, so you feel differently, you feel more confident. I like that. Who else feels differently about something?
I like the ideas. Also, I always start when I do an open house by myself. I like the idea from Steve to have cookies. I always watch that on TV, so I think it's a great idea. I don't know about with Cove, if people feels comfortable, but it's all
Right, right. And what was meaningful to anyone today? Anything that was really meaningful to someone?
For me, it's I have a discomfort with sometimes with the language, as English is my second language. So I do feel like doing the open houses sometimes when you meet someone that does not have an agent and they meet you for the first time, I think it makes them more comfortable to say, okay, I've met the person face to face. I'm going to be more comfortable answering my phone if they do call. And sometimes you realize you have something in common with that short conversation while you're doing the open house. I mean, I am a military wife, retired now, but sometimes you meet people from the military background and that's the connection you have, is saying, you know, been there, done that, have done the moves all over the world. You get a connection with people doing that open house. You find something.
Yep. And it's nurturing, it's building relationships, building relationships, building relationships. And that face-to-face is priceless. You know, you can do all the Facebook ad design campaign things all day long, but until you're talking face-to-face with somebody and they know that you're there to help them and that you care about them, like I said, if they don't care what you know until they know that you care. So this isn't about selling houses. This is about helping people get from here to there and knowing that you're going to take good care of them. And that's what we try to do here at Keller Williams. So how will your behaviors be different going forward with some of this knowledge? What behaviors?
Well, one thing I like, and I've heard it before, but I think you guys really got it, is don't give them all the information you have. Give them a reason to come back to you or for you to call them again to ask questions.
The old, I can't find I don't have any more cards, getting new cards. Yeah, and you can't know everything, by the way. This is not your listing, unless it's your listing. And then even then you don't know everything. You didn't live in that house. You don't have, you know, I bought my house and I didn't realize when I sat on my deck that I could hear the church bells. I didn't know that when I looked at the house. And I know the house, I just didn't realize that. So you don't know everything, but that's a good question to ask your seller. What's something that's cool that I don't know because I don't live here? So what actions are you going to do going forward?
Be prepared.
What else? What actions? This guy is like playing baseball.
I'm gonna continue to offer my services to help out where I can, because I do feel like even if nothing comes of it, as far as leads go, I'm there. So it's a good experience.
Absolutely. I think you're going to have a great, what town is your open house in?
It's in Wellesley.
All right. What's the address? What time is it? We're going to go.
Oh, it's at 12. And of course you would ask me the address. It is, I can type it in the chat if you want.
Absolutely. Put it in the chat for those. Go ahead.
I'm lucky because it is a empty house. So, it's new construction. It, doesn't have anything in it, which I feel lucky because, I don't have to wait until like a seller is out of the house. I don't know. Because it's my first one, I feel like that makes me feel lucky, but.
What are your hours?
It's 12 to 1:30.
Why so short?
I don't know. That's what the agent put it at. But my plan was to go at 11. So I am going to get there early to set up. And, that was my plan all along. I just want to make sure that I know the area too. And, I told you that I'm using my open house signs. So I also just want to make sure I'm putting them in the right place. I've never had to put down open house signs. I don't know if the street is busy or, I don't know anything about the location.
Did a little recon today. I don't know what Roger or anybody else thinks. Two questions. Is it in well, you don't know. Is it like a neighborhood that you could do some door knocking tomorrow?
I'm hoping that's what I was gonna do. So I am hoping that it is. But
So Cindy,
yeah.
Click on the listing and go in the top right corner. If you're in Mass, go up the top right corner, hit the Google Maps.
Yep.
Take a look and you can actually count how many signs you might need by looking at the streets, and you'll have an idea of what that street's like and what the house.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah. That's a good idea.
Other than just driving it,
right.
A hint.
And I think if it's new construction and you're not putting out a family, I'd almost ask the listing agent if I could do it longer than an hour and a half.
I can do that. I could keep my sign out too. I've been to open houses and unfortunately.
Well, we lost you there.
So as far as putting signs out too, those directional signs, get there, don't be afraid to put those out at 9 a.m.
just make sure that, right, yes, that's
Yeah.
true. I could put them out earlier.
Yeah.
No, I personally think, I don't know, we can mastermind on this. I almost think you should ask the listing agent to change it on MLS. And
Okay.
you're at, I would quickly see if you could do it longer.
Yep,
So that
okay.
you have more exposure for yourself and more exposure for the property and more opportunity to get in front of people. You know,
Okay, that works for me.
What's the
What do you
price point
guys
you're
think?
at?
It's I think it's 1.9.
Okay. Yeah, I
So,
would say definitely get it up to 2 hours anyways, and just, you
okay,
know, those types of things. If you've got those open house signs and you're there, and take down the, you know, when you get there, take the 10 to 2 sign down and just leave your signs out. Take that down, or the 12 to 2 sign down. That way there, people will be driving by. They'll follow those signs, and everybody loves to look at a new construction home anyway, especially at the 1.9 range. You get the curious Bobs that are going to come in there. You know, they might
Yes,
not be in
I'm
the market for
assuming that
1.9, but they want to
Right.
look at it, and you're just
I would
there
wanna look at
developing
it.
leads. Yep.
yeah, I'm psyched to go see it. Well, and to be there, but you know, I'm psyched to see it.
Yeah, you should ask the list if it's vacant. Just go early. Go today.
Yeah.
After
Yep.
this phone call.
I know, we're all rooting for you. We're gonna
I
sell
know.
it. And
I'm
Go ahead.
sorry.
Two.
No, I'm putting the address. It's 46 Overbrook Drive in Wellesley. So.
All right. Several things could happen, Cynthia. Or
Yep.
Cynthia. You might get a buyer that's not
Yep,
represented,
right.
that can either not afford it or can afford more.
Right.
Or highly likely could get a seller that wants to buy it.
Right.
And
Okay.
so you have to sell their house.
Right.
So
Yeah.
keep big window of opportunity open for this.
Right.
Excited for you.
That Wellesley
I'm
market.
excited too.
Yeah, the Wellesley market, for those of everybody who doesn't necessarily know, you know, 1.9 is not ridiculous over there. You know, their $500,000 homes are a starter home.
Right. So what are we doing? What actions are we going to take going forward? Anybody else have any actions that they're going to take moving forward?
Who's going to volunteer for open houses this week with all the listing agents in their office?
I've actually already reached out. Yeah.
Nice.
I haven't gotten anything, but I reached out.
Do it again. Yeah.
Be
'Cause
aggressive
sometimes
on your
people
reach out.
cancel, things come up. Yeah.
Sometimes these top busy agents, they don't even check their own emails.
Yeah.
So make sure you, say, hey, I just finished Ignite. I'm pumped. I want to do an open house either this weekend, next weekend, whatever you want. I'll do a 7-level open house. I'll start my marketing on Monday. I'll do blah, 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 you know? Yeah, I think
I
that's.
called last week an agent and the person didn't pick up and she never returned my phone call because I was telling if she has any open house coming up that I will like to help. She never called me back. So I don't know if I should call her back again.
How many agents in your office?
I don't know. I'm new, so I don't know.
So first of all, guys, you need to figure out how to search on MLS people in your market center that are doing open houses.
That's what I
Unfortunately,
did. I have 3 open houses this weekend, just by looking at MLS and just reaching out.
right, yep. So
Yep, same here.
make sure you have you do a search by your office code number, whatever it is, and save it. And then watch it all the time. And you see or I know you probably have internal Facebook, hey, coming soon. You know, I've got a 4-bedroom coming up, blah, blah, blah. You call that agent right now. And the minute you see it, say, hey, I'd like to do your open house this weekend, or at least can I shadow, you know? And you'll find the agents in your market center that are super pay it forward and will be, you know, the one that you're going to call instead of shooting at ducks. You know, you'll build your internal relationships with other agents in the office. And before you know it, they'll be calling you, hey, you want to do an open house for me, right? So let's just kind of continue on here with the program and we'll kind of let you go. So we have our daily habit. Anybody else have any ahas that they want to share? Tell me something good. Anything?
Any suggestions for doing open houses with a broken ankle?
Do it.
Get somebody to help you with it, and you can sit and just, I've seen people do it. I've walked in and the listing agent had a surgery on their knee and they were sitting and they just had an assistant with them.
Yeah.
And they, they talked right from the sitting position. It's obvious,
Yeah.
life gets in the way and happens. So don't let that discourage you.
It's a talking point.
Yep.
You never
Yeah,
know.
conversation starter. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, what happened to you? Wow.
Right.
You're on
Right.
here. You're already developing rapport right there.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I think, any other questions?
That brings up a good point. So let's say that, that's happened to you, right? And, you want your friends willing to help you, as long as you're the licensee in the house and they're helping you walk people around or whatever, as long as you're the license, or do they have to be licensed too?
So in that case, you'd give instruction. There's nothing wrong with having somebody open doors and being there as people do it with their spouse all the time.
Right.
You as the licensee are the only one who can answer specific questions about the house,
right,
price and
Okay.
things like that. You just
Yep.
give, you just guide them. Oh, if this, the heating system's in the basement, obvious. That person can guide. Yeah, the basement door, it's right over here. They're just acting as a traffic director.
Right.
Yeah,
You're the
absolutely,
agent. So you,
positively no talking about real estate by that person.
right.
Right. That makes sense. Yep.
Yeah.
How do I make an offer? Listing it, or the agent's right there. You'd have to speak to them.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
that. I'm just, I'm helper.
Yep. I'm just
And-
here to help.
Or,
Pass out cookies, and that's, in Steve's case at his event,
or bring another agent that can help you.
Right.
And then you guys share the leads.
Yeah, that's more what I kind of meant, to get someone to help you, certainly. But yeah, you can have it happens.
A lot of people like their spouse. I don't see them half the time because they're busy on the weekends.
Yep.
And then we have open house and we go have dinner. So, yeah. So any other last, questions that we can help you process through or share or mastermind with the group?
One thing that's really important, if you're going to have another licensee with you, nobody thinks about this until it's a huge, well, not always, hopefully, but sometimes there are these situations, and figure out what's happening with the leads that come in. Do it in advance, and how are those going to be handled?
Right.
Because you see, it's, like I don't see it in my office, and you guys may not either, maybe more of an industry thing. But think about that. The listing agent, talk to the listing agent if you're helping about how exactly is this going to work.
Yep.
And figure it out in advance.
And take that one step further. As a coach and as a TL man, I'm not a TL, but as a coach, I tell my guys, I go, listen, if you're doing these things, have it in writing with an exchange of the idea in writing in an email. Because if you come to me complaining about somebody and they did this or that, I'm going to go, okay, where's your agreement that's in writing that I can look at and read? Because
Absolutely.
we can't help you if we can't go to a document, because it's he said, people misunderstand understandings all the time. That's human, but get it into writing.
Good point. Good point. Yeah. And you had that conversation before you even agreed to do the open house.
Yep.
Most agents are really, we have great culture here at Keller Williams. Most agents are really cool. You may have a brand new agent that has a listing that just says, I want all the people, and then you go, okay, I'm learning, and that's fine. Or you go, you know what, I want another listing. I want an open house with somebody that's going to give me the lead. It's just discuss it. Like
Yeah, I think-
anything, it's all about communication.
Right. You're in business. You're expected to act like a business practitioner, and that's how a business practitioner would think. All right, what's my understanding and what's their understanding? Communicate, and then put it into right. Hey, per our conversation, just to be clear, you said I can keep all the leads. Thanks so much. I really appreciate the opportunity, blah, blah, blah. And then once you sent that, at least it's in there, even if they don't acknowledge it, you've sent something. So that would become, facts and evidence type of thing, if that conversation or misunderstanding ever happened. And going back to a point of, volunteering for open houses, if you're not getting response from agents, go introduce yourself face to face. So you're not just some stranger to them as well.
Yep.
You know, talk to
Get a
them
taste
face to
of 'em a
face if
little.
you can. Go to their open house and say, oh, geez, I was seeing if you know, because some listing agents are going to do their own open houses.
Yeah.
You know, go to that open house, introduce yourself there. Oh, hey, boom. Do you mind? This looks great.
Yep.
Placate to their egos. You know, God, you did a great job here staging this. You know, everybody likes to help teach and learn and pay it forward.
Absolutely. And when all else fails, if you just can't get one, go around to open houses so you can understand the market, introduce yourself to, you know, other agents, even without, not just Keller Williams, just everybody. Hey, I'm new,
Right.
I'm excited, and
You're
what do you
networking with them all.
need? And, you
Yeah.
know,
That's what I've been trying to do is if I didn't have an open house or if I had an early one, then in the afternoon, whatever time I can get to an open house, whether it's Keller Williams or anything in my town or surrounding area, I'm going to open houses all the time as much as I can, introduce myself to all of the agents so they're just aware that there's another one.
Yep,
Yep.
absolutely.
And that's part of our 10-4, you know, and Ignite, you know.
Yep, here we
Review
go.
10 homes. There you go. Bingo. Nice
Right on
segue.
time. Thank you, Martin.
You
But
bet.
you know, that's exactly right. And you're in the game. So you need to know every single house that's, you know, you want to know what's going on, particularly in your own town, because it doesn't take, you'll be in real estate for 2 weeks. People start wanting to know everything about real estate. It doesn't take long. So, you know, goals to set your career on fire. These are the things that I hope everyone is doing on a daily basis. We're adding contacts into command in a high level, name, phone number, neighborhood, do they have a dog, you know, everything. Keep notes so you know what you're doing. Have 10 conversations every day somehow. Wear your badge upside down. So people will, you know, kind of make joke that you have your badge upside down. I'm a huge fan of handwritten notes. I know people think it's super old fashioned, but
No.
I'm telling you, you run into somebody somewhere at the, you know, whatever, and then send them a note. Hey, thanks for talking to, you know, thanks for, it was nice running into you yesterday. Here's a bunch of my cards. You know, you never know. How about go around to every place in your town and ask to leave a stack of your cards? You know, pizza place and the grocery store and the donut shop and the coffee, you know, leave a stack of them. And I guarantee somebody in that store is going to say, how's business? I guarantee that. And now you've got the, hey, you know, why do you ask? You're thinking about buying? Yeah, we're thinking about opening another store. Yeah. So always follow up with, why do you ask? Remember that one. Why do you ask? Do you need, when they go, what's the rates? You know, oh, they're about 3, you know, they ticked up a little bit. Why do you ask? Do you need a lender? I've got 5 that are awesome. You know, so always go 1 or 2 more deep. Don't let conversations just die. People are asking you for a reason, and maybe they're just chit chatting, but they're often asking for a reason, and don't miss that cue. And then we're going to preview 10 homes per week if you can, you know, if there's that many out there. But, you know, let's preview every home in your town or your city, or just keep at it. So we're going to lead generate. We're going to uncover motivations. We're going to identify objections. We're going to close deals. We're going to speak in terms that customers understand. They don't know what CMAs are necessarily. You know, speak in terms that the consumer understands, and you're going to build confidence at all times. And hey, let's remember to ask for an appointment. You know, hey, why don't we get together and have a coffee? Let's talk a little bit more. I know you're not going to sell your house for 3 years, but do you want me to do a little baseline thing for you so you have it? You know, like a baseline x-ray, you know, just that, you know, people have it. And then what are we doing here? Compliance. We're always going to talk about the compliance here. Lead generating, calling with scripts, update contacts, contract to purchase. Okay, so your next session, before the next session, make sure you complete each task before attending the next class. You're going to add contacts, continue making calls, figure out these QR codes and all of that. Go along and do your open houses and bring the following to the next section. I don't remember that. Get
I think
help.
we're adding new stuff here and there.
I
every once in a
know,
while.
that's a cool new
Yeah.
one. I didn't know
Yeah.
there was homework.
Yep. Well, there is homework every day. It's your 10-4.
It's your 10-4. Get those things done.
If you
Learn
do
how
one
to
thing,
do
do
it.
that.
Right, and then get help.
Yep.
Here's your list. There's your survey. So I'm going to do a stop screen.
So that's
Or
the
should I
QR
not?
code, right? And that,
Everybody grab that QR code right now and do that Survey Monkey so we can know what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. And be frank, we're tough. We can take constructive criticism. You know, we always want this class to be, you know, we want you guys to leave and go, man, that was good. It was good today. I like that. I'm going to go get me some open houses. Right? Everybody good there?
I don't know if you can hear me, Deb. I'm driving at the moment, but I'm hands-free, just by the way. There is something I wanted to add to that is sometimes if someone is selling, they're also buying, of course. And if you're lucky enough, you're going to be there helping them sell and buy. And sometimes your open house falls on the same day you have to go show your buyers a new home. And I know a lot of our agents in our office posts on Facebook on their office Facebook page. Hey, I'm available this weekend to do an open house if anyone's available, because sometimes sellers don't want other agents to do the open houses. But if the agent knows someone is available, they can at least run it by their client and say, hey, there is someone that can do it for us. Do you want to go see this other house on the same time?
Right. Yeah, you just have to keep your eyes open at all time. I'm just reading some of the chat. I went to KW. Well, thank you, Nellie. That it's, yeah, you just never know. You just have to always be on the lookout for new business, for sure.
Mhm.
So who else has some final thoughts, and then we can move on. You can go on with your day to make calls. Roger, any thoughts?
Yeah, so I mean, stick with it. We know that you guys get overwhelmed, and you're not, that's not unusual. It's been universal for every new person who's ever started real estate. At some point, they get to a point, they hit a ceiling, they're trying to absorb information. You know, just break it down. Take one thing at a time, daily, weekly, whatever your absorption rate is. And in people who are doing dual career, you only have so much time in the day, so you have to be a little wiser and smart about your time. But just stick with it. You know, quitters, what is it? Quitters never win, and winners never quit.
Quitters
you
never
know?
win.
Yeah. So and
Who
you'll
else?
get there.
You'll get there. You'll get there.
Yep.
You just keep pushing. Again, it's a numbers game. Steve, any thoughts?
I think everything's been pretty much covered. I always chuckle at these classes because when I went to real estate school, 12 years ago, the instructor was like, don't waste your time with open houses. They don't do anything. And geez, every time I've done an open house, I've either gotten a new seller or gotten a new buyer. I love them.
Yeah.
I even go out. I mean, I've been licensed now for 11 years. I make sure that I do at least one open house, if not two a month. Because I'm one of those few that I love to work with buyers. Because you can
Right,
mold
and
them a
this
lot
market can be
easier than
more,
a seller.
Yeah, this market's a little more taxing than other markets. But you're
Right,
absolutely
right. Yes.
correct. Every time I've done a listing and I've had open, I liked it when the house, I actually don't like it when it sells so fast. I wanted to do several open houses at that
Lose
house.
a lot of marketing time. And
Yeah,
exposure
because
for sure.
those people, those are hot leads. They're not
Yeah,
cold calls.
yeah.
Those are people showing interest. They're raising their hand, you know.
Right.
And just a footnote too, coming up here in, December and January, that's when people start to think about buying for next year. So a lot of those folks are unattended with agents, and guess how they meet their agent? At open houses.
Yep. Right. And if people are looking and doing things when it's snowing, they're motivated.
Right.
Yeah. So let's make sure. So I'm excited for Cynthia doing her open house in Wellesley. Let's hope everybody goes over and swings by. And I hope this class has been helpful for
Thank
you in terms of your weekend plans, which now are going to be consumed with your open house.
Yeah, when we
Thank
do
you
an
so
open
much.
houses too, think about it this way: you're the host. So just welcome them in. If nothing else, take a look around. I'll be right here. If you have any questions, what brings you by, where are you from? I mean, it sounds, corny, but just ask questions about those folks, where they're from, what brings them by, what do they like about the house? Hey, what didn't you like about the house? That opens up and gets through any resistance that may be there as far as being uncomfortable or awkward. And you know what? Read the room. If that person's just kind of cold, move to the next person that comes through the door.
Don't bug them. Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody has their own personal comfort zone.
Right.
And doesn't mean they're not gonna buy a house. They just aren't chatty, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, any last thoughts or questions for us? Cynthia.
Thank you so much.
Right,
Well,
good
thank
working
you.
with you
Thank you
guys.
guys
I
for
mean,
coming.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
awesome,
So-
awesome.
Showing
All
up
right,
is 90% of it. So
Showing up is 90%. All right, guys, have a great day.
Thank you. Have a good one.
thanks, Deb. Thanks, Steve.
We'll see you later, guys. Have a great day.
Thank
Have a
you.
great weekend.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Thank you, Roger. Oh, Steve left. Thank you, Roger. As always, love
Yep.
teaching with you.
Yeah, we bounce off each other, which
We do. It
that
works
I
out.
like.
Okay. We got a system. We don't know how we works, but we got.
one of these days we'll get together if you're ever down this area. So
All right, absolutely. Hey, we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.
Take care.
Bye-bye.